Hi guys, this is Shwaredi. Welcome to the session on SonarLint for Eclipse. In this session, I explain how to add SonarLint plugin for Eclipse, and also the second part of the tutorial video we are going to see how to integrate your local Eclipse workspace into a centralized Sonarqube server using the SonarLint. So first step is we need to install the or we need to add the plugin SonarLint plugin for the Eclipse. So first, in order to add it, you need to make sure that you have the latest version of the Java installed on your computer. So make sure that you have installed Java 1.8 before you proceed with this session. Once you install the Java 1.8, take any Eclipse and open the Eclipse, go to help, and here click on the Eclipse marketplace, and from here we can find the SonarLint plugin for the Eclipse. So let us see. So search for SonarLint, click enter. Now you can see that SonarLint 2.2.1. So this is the plugin we need to add to the Eclipse. So click on install. Now it is going to extract all the required jars required for the SonarLint 2.1, and then we need to accept the license agreement. So okay, so you can select the both the SonarLint for Eclipse and SonarLint Eclipse Java configuration helper. Click confirm. Then we need to accept the terms of the license agreement and then click finish. Now this is SonarLint plugin is going to add it to our Eclipse. So once it has added to the all the once it install the software required for the SonarLint, now we need to restart our Eclipse. Okay, so it will ask for the restart. So click yes, and then it will try to restart the Eclipse. So my Eclipse is again loading. Once you Eclipse got open, now you have an option to see the SonarLint plugin available in the Eclipse environment. Okay, so it is going to take a little bit time. Okay, so click OK. It take a while to load the Eclipse workspace. Okay, so now the Eclipse got open. Now you can verify whether SonarLint is installed to the this Eclipse or not. So by going to the click on window, so show view and go to others, and here if you see the SonarLint you are able to see here. So SonarLint basically can have the three parts of it. So SonarLint issues, SonarLint description, and SonarQube server. So before we go ahead with this one, first let us see once you have added this one, what happens is by default the all the projects whichever it is available in the Eclipse, you by default see that there is an option for the SonarLint. Go to the properties and see here SonarLint. So by default, what happens is once you add a plugin to the Eclipse, then by default it is going to run the SonarLint option automatically. It will be checked. You see here, if you don't want to automatically, it needs to be checked. Then you can click on uncheck, and then click on apply and OK. Okay. Now one more thing is by default, whenever SonarLint comes with once you install, by default you are going to see that the log the console, whatever the console you want to see for the sonar and analysis debug console, by default it is going to be disabled. So in order to enable, just go to the Windows, show view, click on console, and if you see here, one open console is a one perspective. If you see here, you have a different consoles you are going to see. Select this SonarLint console. So once you see the SonarLint console, if you see here, there is a setting symbol. So you can enable or the disable by default. Once you enable it, then you can go to the any project and click on any class. So now it will try to analyze all your source code once you open any file. So if you see here, for example, I am giving some random interface, like once I open any file, the SonarLint is going to start executing, is going to start analyzing this project. So right click on it, go to the properties, and see it is by default I have disabled. So now if I enable, click apply and OK. Now what happens is, now SonarLint is going to analyze this project and going to give you some errors about it is going to provide you on-fly feedback to the developers regarding the bugs or the quality issues, whatever it is finds. So for example, if you see here, now the underline sum with the blue color, you will say that add a private constructor to hide the implementation. And also if you see in the console, by default you are going to see that Sonarqube is analyzing all your source code, and if there is any errors are there, then those errors is going to be displayed. Okay, so this is the how SonarLint is going to be works for us. That means whenever you are working with the any development project, at the development phase itself, the SonarLint guide you the developer to to code efficiently, so that it may not have any quality issues when it moves to the either it might be QA as the production. So the basic advantage of the SonarLint is it is going to provide on-fly feedback to the developers on the new bugs are the quality issues which are going to be occurred when you are developing a particular application. So this is when you are trying to work in the locally. Okay, now how to see what are the errors you are going to get when the Sonarqube, when the SonarLint is trying to analyze your source code. In order to see those errors, go to the show view, again others, and then you can select the SonarLint. Here we have a SonarLint issues. So click on that, select this SonarLint and click OK. Now it is going to provide you whatever the errors or the whatever the quality issues it is find when it is trying to analyze your source code. So if you want to know particular description about the any sonar issue you are seeing here, double click on it, then it is going to provide you that information in the SonarLint description. So in order to see the SonarLint description, issue description, again go here and select SonarLint rule description. Okay, so this is the one more feature it is going to provide. So whenever you click on any SonarLint issue, then automatically the corresponding description you can find in the SonarLint rule description. So SonarLint rule description basically provide you some example what is the non-compliant. That means this is not the way it should not handle, and also it is going to give you some suggestion how to handle. So basically SonarLint issue is going to be the issue which is happened when it is trying to analyze the source code, and SonarLint description rule description is going to provide you the how to handle perfectly, so that you can mitigate this whatever the issues reported by the SonarLint. So this is basically how we are going to work with the SonarLint only when you are working with the locally. Now, if you want to integrate your local code or this particular code to a centralized SonarQube server, where all the developers are where that centralized SonarQube will have the latest code from the code base, then all the developers has to connect it to that SonarQube and verify whether really whatever the issues reported, whatever the rules and regulations maintained in the SonarQube server, it needs to be followed for all the developers. Then SonarLint provided one option to connect to the centralized SonarQube server. So, but this feature is only available if you are trying to work with the SonarLint version 2.0 onwards. That means currently when I am installing this SonarLint plugin, that is 2.2.1. But if you are working with the below 2.0 version, then you don't see this feature. But latest version of the 2.0 plus, then you can see this option. Okay, now in order to in order to integrate your local code with the SonarQube centralized server, then go to show view others. Here we see an option for the SonarQube server. Click OK. Now once you click OK, now connected to the SonarQube server, click on it. It is going to provide you the, you need to mandatory provide the what is the centralized SonarQube server. In my case, I just want to show the demo. I am putting localhost, and it is 9000 my local. So if you see here, I locally running my SonarQube server, and if you see the URL localhost 9000, I have sample 4 projects I have already included to the SonarQube server. So now what my intention is, I want to bind this one of this project to the local Eclipse project. Okay, so it is going to be the URL is nothing but your server URL. But if you are using like a authentication mechanism, then you need to provide the username and password, and then click on text connection. So as my local does not have any does not have the any authentication, so test connection completed successfully. Now click finish. Now once you click finish, now what happens is, it is going to now from the Eclipse, you are now connecting to your SonarQube server, and then what you can do is you can now sync your local code data with the SonarQube server rules and regulations, so that whenever you are coding these coding in your local Eclipse using the SonarLint, those standards you are going to be maintained. Now see, it is going to be actually sync with the SonarQube server. Now how to add some project to it? Got it? So in order to add the project, in order to sync your local project with the SonarQube server project, click on any project and go to SonarLint. Here you have an option to bind a SonarQube project. So click on it. Now here you have an option to bind your local Eclipse project with the, which is matching with the SonarQube project. So there are two ways. One is you have an auto bind selected project. When you click here, the SonarLint automatically try to find out which is exactly matching with the SonarQube server, which is almost equivalent to one of your Eclipse project, and it is trying to bind it. So first click on auto bind selected project. If you see here, Gradle Sonar on the on the server local host, which is exactly matching with the Gradle Sonar. If you see the centralized repository, whatever we have with the in my local, it is the Gradle project. I have given the same project name in the Eclipse. That is the reason automatically SonarLint able to identify what is the Eclipse project, which is almost similar to the project name which is hosted on the SonarQube server. Once you bind it, click finish. Now what happens is, what now for this project, whatever the rules and regulations you are going to set for the centralized repository server, those will be applied here. That means whenever you are scanning this project, it will always go and check what are the rules and regulations you are defined for this project on this SonarQube centralizer server. Based on that, it is going to provide the on-fly feedback to the developers and also identify the quality fixes, quality issues related to the Java code. Okay, so now if you want to unbind it, for example, if you want to you already have binding this project. Now if you want to unbind this project to the from that, again you can say unbind project. So when you say unbind project means no, now this project will not, now SonarLint does not care about the whatever the rules you have set it in the SonarQube. It will be followed local code, and it is trying to run all the run the project using the standard and rules and regulations defined using the SonarLint. But if whenever you are binding the project from the local to whenever for your SonarQube server, then it will be taken care of the rules and regulations which are going to be defined in the centralized repository. So again, if you want to bind it, go to bind the SonarQube server, auto bind it. If you are not able to find it, then you need to select manually. If you want to manually select it, double click on here. Sorry, double click here, and you can start typing it. So it is not matching. So if you see here, Sonar is matching. So whatever you want to match with the SonarQube server to the local project, you can map it. So for example, if I am setting here as a Maven test sonar. So now what happens is Gradle sonar in local project is equivalent to the SonarQube server Maven test sonar. Then it will start looking for that project and try to find out what are the suggestions or the whatever the rules set by the centralized SonarQube server that will be validated. Okay, so this is all about the SonarLint. For example, by default, what I say is by default when you are install the SonarLint, automatically it will be run the files. So I don't want like that, but I want to, based on the particular file, I want to individually analyze whether my code, whatever the code I have written is correct or not. In that case, go to this file, go to which file you want to check individually, right click on it, you have go to the Sonar, you have an option to analyze. So click this analyze. Then what happens is this time it will only analyze whatever the file you have selected, that file only it will be analyzed, and it is going to provide the on-file feedback. Okay, hope you are clear with the concept of the SonarLint, what is the main advantages of it, and how to bind your local project with the centralized SonarQube server. If you have any questions, please comment on my YouTube video. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel to get more technical videos. Thanks for watching.